That's so sweet.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. This is Brad with More Coaching, and we're doing the speaking series on following your dreams no matter what. And today I'm honored to have a very dear friend with me, Claudette Anderson. Welcome. Claudette is an entrepreneur, market operator, author, and founder of the Truth Method, which empowers you to connect to the highest source within your soul and break free from limiting beliefs, fear, doubt, and pain to step into your true identity and realize your purpose and potential, which I personally feel is a perfect addition to this speaking series because we have known each other for what, 4 years now?
Oh God, 3 or 4 at least.
I'm pretty sure it's at least 3, somewhere close to 4. I was actually just looking at the pictures when we went to the coast, and that was such an amazing visit. It was really good to meet you and spend time with you. And so thank you for taking some time to be with us and speak into where you're at, because I know that you're following your dreams. So my intention here is to provide the viewers with examples of people who have stepped into that unknown and really decided for themselves, it's time. It's time to follow my dream. And you and I had a brief discussion before recording. So I'd love for you to share with people, number one, what you do, why it's important to you, and then how does this fit into the theme of following your dream no matter what?
Well, I always have had dreams, and I know for years I would think about my dream, think about what I wanted to do, but not take action. And I think there was fear around it, fear of failing, messing it up, not knowing enough, all of those fears that we go through when we're thinking about expansion, right? And so for me, I started in business first. That was that was the easiest thing for me to do. And I say easiest in quotes because I believe that business is a spiritual journey. It will challenge you and stretch you in ways you never thought. It will trigger you, the fear of not having enough or lack or destruction, fear of I had a fear of utter destruction, Brad. And then I go, what does that look like really? And so I began to, open a couple businesses, work on them over the years. I've had a few, sold a couple, went bankrupt once. And when that happened, and that was a whole ordeal in and of itself, and wish I could have avoided it, but I was being sued by a printer company for a printer that wasn't in my office anymore. And it was like a very expensive printer, and they removed it and then said they didn't. And that was a whole year battle. And so when I the advice I got was file bankruptcy on that. I realized I didn't die in that process. I survived. And I was like, oh, and, I kind of paid off the creditors that I needed to pay off. I just said, this is what's happening. I've got to get free from this and, stop this. And then like a year after, I got an apology from the company, from their attorney. I'm like, dude, I'm already filed bankruptcy. What? And so what happened is I began to understand, no, I'm surviving. Like I started seeing I'm actually not utterly destroyed, right? And I started getting braver. And then that's when I began to dig deep inside myself to grow spiritually. I came down with cancer and challenged it. I challenged the cancer. I was like, well, there's people that get healed. I should be able to get healed. And this is when I began to understand truth. And so I dug deeply into truth by just asking, what is the truth about this? And I realized my beliefs allowed the experience of cancer. Now that changes everyone's perspective because we think things are happening to us or for us. I challenge that and say it's from you. And that's something that's really hard to wrap our minds around. But if we accept it and we understand that our beliefs create everything that we experience, then we will want to dig in on our beliefs like it's nobody's business. Because if you're experiencing something that is unpleasant, well, that's just proof of an earlier creation that came forth from you, good or bad. We create all types of things and we're not even conscious of that creation. So that's where the truth came in, and stepping into conscious creation and also tapping into that divine power in us that is our birthright. This goes beyond religion and it goes back into experiential. Like we've all had that intuitive, that truth. And so I will say that accessing the truth led me out of just dreaming about things, right? I hope this happens one day. I want to do this. You hear a lot of people that talk about doing something and then they never do it. But when they're talking to you, they're on fire. Like they're
Right.
like, I want to do this, and this is amazing. And you feel it, and you're like, yeah, do it. And then they don't do it. Why? Right? Well, it's not going to do itself. If it could, I would show you how. I would do an online program and charge $19.97 and show you how to let it do itself. But that doesn't work. So what are the beliefs that we have in us that block us from even taking the small steps? A lot of times we think we don't know enough. We aren't enough. We aren't smart enough. Maybe we have a belief that it takes money to make money, right? But I have blown through all of those, and they're false. They're all false beliefs. And so it's a matter of identifying what we believe that's blocking us from fulfilling our higher purpose. And when we receive inspiration, that is literally God shooting a bolt of lightning through your being, going, I want to do this through you. And then our ego steps in and goes, I don't know if I can. If you couldn't, it wouldn't have come through you. That's what I can say. So I began to understand and think about this. I go on my deathbed, and I would prefer to die like this. I'm just coming right out. I would prefer to throw a party and then say, hey guys, I love y'all. I'm 130 right now. My butt is leaving, right? I'm leaving next week. I'm just going to lie down on my bed. Don't anyone interrupt me. And then you can come in the next day and come and get me. So that's how I prefer. But I was like, in the end, no one else's opinion matters. Nothing else matters but you and your spirit and God going, did you do it? What will you regret? And what will you be totally happy about? Right? And that's what caused me to start seeking truth and taking action. I was like, I don't need anyone else's approval. I don't even really need anyone else's opinions. I do seek advice from people that have done things successfully before me, right? But even then, I still go back into accessing truth to see if it resonates in my soul. So I would say for everyone listening, if what I say doesn't resonate with you, just throw it away. And if it does, keep it. So
Love that. I love that. So one of the things that really resonated with me, with what you just said, is getting to the end of our life here in this particular lifetime, and looking back and saying, okay, what are my regrets? Are my regrets, I wish I would never have bought in that house or married that person, or, are the regrets something else? And you and I have similar experiences in life. And one of the things that I think about a lot is when I'm on this journey, and there are days that it feels like, God, I don't think I know what the hell I'm doing right now, but I'm just going to keep on taking that next step and not be attached to what that outcome may or may not be.
mhm.
And it's when I get to my final days, there was this thought that when I was still in corporate world, do I want to look back and say, I really wish I would have tried that. I really wish I would have asked that person out, or taken that job, or traveled to Europe for a year, or started my own business, right? Whatever it might have been. Do I want to say that, or do I want to say I tried? maybe I didn't look exactly the way I wanted it to, but I did it. And which is the thing that I want to be saying with myself. And, you know, with the passing of my best friend and my mom in the same year, it really cemented that in for me. It's like, we may have, I mean, I don't know. I think that you and I have the same belief system where we live multiple lifetimes, but in this particular one, what am I going to do with this particular lifetime? And that might be a little bit out there for some of the viewers, and that's okay. But the reality is, when we get to our final days, what do we want to reflect back on? And I'm
Yes.
with you. I'm going to try it, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, hey, I tried.
Right. Right. I would rather, excuse the language, go balls to the wall and 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 go all out and figure it out and be full of passion in life. I call it the livingness of life. So many times we get in a rut just to exist. We work to live and live to work and different things. And I'm not telling you, I mean, the past 2 years, because I'm bringing the truth method to the world, like, so just my example is for 20 years before that, I coached people and did what's called truth sessions. And as I was coaching them, I would start to teach them how to do it. But I developed in 2020 the full on system. And I put people through, initially, I asked a few friends, hey, do this and give me some feedback. And then I put over 350 people through it, I think, totally in just 1 year by word of mouth. Okay. And continue to get feedback and rewrite things and improve and tell people, hey, let me know what you need. I'll provide it for you, because the whole goal of the program was to learn to connect to God within and hear that guidance, and to step out of the construct of the ego, which is very limiting. And your ego is what tells you you can't do it or you're not enough. And I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. It's a lie. It's not true. But we have these beliefs that control everything. Our beliefs literally are thought waves that go out and shape our experiences in the world. This is how powerful we are. Science has already proven it. You can look up the double slit test, how photons literally react based on observation and intention. When they were in there doing experiments and they were shifting the experiments, they were like, it's as if they know what we're doing. And I'm like, no shit, Sherlock, they do. Right. So this is creation. Like ancient writings are about, have written about this, right? Sumerian texts go back and have this conversation on beliefs and truth. This is the truth sets you free. So how do you access that truth? And it's not your truth or my truth. So I tell everyone, don't say that around me, because I ain't talking about that. I'm not talking about your truth or my truth. I'm talking about the eternal truth that is based on universal law, just like you have the law of electricity or the law of belief. See, there's certain laws that are just true. They are just, they hold everything together. Okay. So my dream was to get that out to the world. And I will tell you, I encountered fear. I encountered, oh my gosh, I'll fail, or I won't do it clearly, right? Or what if I mislead anyone? And then I don't want to mislead anyone. And then finally, the truth was like, girl, just lead them to me. I'll get them straight. I mean, it's the guidance from within. So I released myself of that, and I went, you know what I can do? I can show you how I got healed of cancer, stage 4. I can show you how thousands before you have removed fear, have removed doubt, and have stepped into their purpose and had started creating better things. So the evidence was there, right? And that's why I have the app coming up, the truthmethod.app. It's coming out. So, but this is a dream. And if I wouldn't have made an action on it, if I wouldn't, and here's how I did it. Do you want to know how I did it?
I would love it.
Okay. So I took this big, huge thing, and I don't know if any of you have ever felt overwhelmed. I'm sure it's only me. I'm sure no one else in the world has ever felt overwhelmed. But I started to look at I got all these grandiose visions and dreams. And I even been told by a friend, a former friend, she goes, Claudette, you won't be able to do everything you're talking about in 5 lifetimes, much less one. And that was when I was 35 years old. I'm now 55 and I've only just begun. And there is no stopping me. And I will do what I've dreamed of in 5 years versus 5 lifetimes. I know this now with certainty, but how I got there is I begin to go, okay, I said this one thing. I can do all things as guided by truth. I can do everything as guided by truth. There is nothing I can't do. Just start saying that. The truth in me knows the way. That is accessing universal spirit in you, the all-knowing. So if your ego is going, you can't do it, you don't know what you're doing, what are you thinking? Say, shut up, ego. And I say, shut the F up.
Yeah, I love that.
So just shut up. And then I go, I can do anything through the divine that is within me. I can do anything. And so, the regret, no, I'm not going to have any. And here's something too. You might have made mistakes before. I told you about the bankruptcy because I went all out and said, here it is. I've done it. Okay. So guess what? The power in me shuts the door on my past. Because if I shut the door on my past, that means I'm not turning my awareness back to it. Sure, I've learned things and I'll carry that wisdom with me. But I'm not going to focus on a failure in the past, because if I do that, it projects it into my future. And so I'm just going to shut it and go, today's a new day and I'm a new bitch and it's going to happen today, right? Like that's it. I'm just going to be a new woman and I'm going to love fully, live fully, and serve, because that's my passion. Brad has heard me say, I'm building an empire and it's for people to be free. I mean, I'm serving, and I can't even imagine breathing without doing this. It's like my purpose, my direction. So think about how good I feel knowing I'm doing it. And sometimes things take longer. I thought the app was going to be out 6 weeks ago. So yes, they do take longer, but who cares? Who really cares? Just do it. Just do it so you can say you did. And then if it's not working, well, tweak it, for God's sake. Don't just quit, tweak it.
I love that. And I love when we talk about shutting those voices up. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I started doing in the last couple of years is whenever those voices show up, because we all have them, Oprah has them, Barack Obama has them, Bill Clinton, everybody who's even super successful, Bill Gates, everybody who we all look up to as, the quintessential markers for success, all have those voices that say, not going to happen. And what I started doing for myself is saying, you know what? I know that that's not the voice of love. That is not the voice of love speaking to me. And you might call it the voice of truth. But I say that's not love. I would never say that to a friend, that you can't possibly do that. I would say, okay, how do we make this work? Let's figure it out. Let's do this. And so when those voices show up, I say, hey, thanks for giving me your opinion, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care if it's, if I'm shuffling like an old man with my baby steps, or if I'm taking really giant leaps of faith, either way, it's like, you know what? Thanks for your input, and I'm going to do it anyway. So I would love for you to share with people a little bit more detail about when the self-doubt comes in and the ego goes like, oh my God, who am I to do this? What are some things that you've done to help you navigate those? Because those are some pretty powerful voices and emotions that come up, because those have been ingrained in us socially, culturally, through our family, through our friends, through our teachers, our coworkers, our bosses, or whatever. There are constantly people telling us, even in our advertising and marketing, you're not enough unless you have this, or you're not enough constantly. Is a subliminal message of you're not enough unless this. What are the secrets that you can share with people that say, fuck all that? Just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it's true. What are some tools that you can share with people watching?
I love that you asked that, because I have a little exercise to give people so they can get past the bullshit and start to recognize what it is. So let's get back to what are these little voices or things that we hear. Everything is belief-based. So if you have a thought going through your head that says you can't do it, there is a belief fueling that thought. Now, the trap of self-help is we're training our brain and not our soul. So let's be careful, because you can't just do mindset work.
Yeah, I love it. Let's hear some more.
Yeah, you can't just do mindset because the law of belief is there. Okay. And the law of correspondence. So belief says that what you believe on the inside creates systems on the outside. The law of correspondence says that whatever you're experiencing on the outside, it has a direct correlation with what you're experiencing on the inside. So whatever I believe, what I'm seeing in the outside world is already from a previous belief or creation. And it could be an ongoing belief or creation that I don't even know I have. It's in my subconscious. This is the problem. We're creating all kinds of things, good or bad. We create wars based on fear or anger. And then we wonder why there's a war. And we create things individually, or we'll join in frequency and beliefs to social constructs. Okay. So this is how it works. And everything is a thought wave. So let's start with that and then go, okay, if I have a thought going through my being, I have to recognize that if it's a negative thought, it's functioning through the ego, which is in darkness. Now, let's talk about darkness. Darkness, people hear that and they're like, ooh, it's evil or whatever. I'm like, it's a lack of consciousness. Okay. So darkness is a lack of consciousness. And because we're such manifestors and we were made in the image of creation, we are literally a fractal of universal spirit. That's who you are. That's who you are. And if you remember who you are, and this is a process because we're coming out of darkness, everybody's in it. Why did we go in darkness? Well, a lot of religions talk about a fall or some. We just descended in consciousness to individualize. So nobody's in trouble. It's all good. We're individualizing over here. And when we have finished that process, it's time for our ass to come out of it. That is it. So let's not make a big deal out of it, but let's understand it. And so when we're coming out of it, this is where we seek the truth. You've heard the truth sets you free, right? Well, let's start seeking the truth. And that's the law of truth. If you turn to it and ask for truth, you shall receive it. It will start to come up. When I first got healed from stage 4 cancer, I went from stage 1 to stage 4 while I was attempting to be healed and still going to the doctor because I'm not a dumbass. I was going to the doctor, getting my blood work, going, how much more time do I have before I have to make a final decision? I delayed surgery 3 times. And then I finally got to the point I said, well, if I'm not healed by this time, I'll probably have surgery. I'm not going to try to pretend I'm healed all the way to the grave. No, I believe in evidence, right? And so I was looking at that, but then I received a transformation. I had been getting truth. And you know what I realized? My cancer came from, I had not forgiven myself. I had extreme anger toward myself for making mistakes. I hated myself.
Wow.
Okay. And we wonder why we're sick.
Yeah.
Right. And so I began to get truth on that. And as I got truth, I began to love myself, forgive myself. And my very cellular structure conformed to that frequency. So my cells responded to that higher vibration, but it happens at a soul level. And this was the beginning of the practice of truth. And that was 1994. And, in 94, I thought I was going to get this truth thing out in a couple of years. Well, look, what year is this?
2022. You're 28 years later.
Yeah, 28 years later. And you know what? My give a shit went out the door because it takes as long as it takes. But you know what? I kept growing. I kept moving forward. I kept removing the fear. Now, it doesn't take 28 years for everybody else because I now have a system. But if you're just kind of doing it on your own, it's going to take longer, right? If you have a system and steps and a group to help you, it takes less time. That's just common sense. But what I did is I began to go, what are the beliefs that would stop me from this? What are the beliefs that would stop me from this? And then what is the truth? And so I have just a quick way that you can identify the beliefs that are blocking you from your purpose, right? So you have a dream, you have something you wish to accomplish. You might be older and you might say, it's too late. Well, that's bullshit. Colonel Sanders didn't create Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was 65 years old. So shut up.
I love that example.
I don't even want to hear it. And there are authors that have written books that are incredible at 80 years old. I don't want to hear it. You are eternal. Time is an illusion, yet it still goes by. So let's learn to become masters of it. And when you step into the frequency of your purpose, removing these limiting beliefs, things will happen a lot faster than you thought. Because once I got rid of, there were a couple of beliefs I hung on for like 20 something years. Once I got rid of them and I was ready to really face that part of myself, it's moving forward so fast. Like things are getting ready to explode. Like it's exciting right now, right? And I feel like I'm getting on a roller coaster going, let's go, hold on and let's go. But here you can make a simple list. So I want you to make a list and you have columns. Okay. The first column is, what is your dream? If I could have it all my way, I would. What would you do? And just go to town on that and do it line by line. Just keep it in the left column. Then in the next column, let your ego just run its freaking mouth. If I could have it all my way, I would do this. And then all the thoughts that pop up telling you why you can't do it, those are the beliefs that you're going to need to face. Because you can try to mindset them away, but until you get truth and they're removed from your subconscious, you'll get exhausted trying to do the work. Right? It's exhausting to just try to reset constantly. So the cool thing about getting truth is your mind actually eventually goes quiet. I had a Truth Method member have her brain activity measured, and she was just in a regular state of being in her brain activities, up and down and up and down. And they said, so focus, meditate. And she had meditated, like she's even into Joe Dispenza, stuff like that. So she was starting to meditate and they go, well, it's not calming enough, even though with Joe Dispenza, he can get you calm. She goes, She goes, let me just go into truth. She went into truth and her brain flatlined. Like it just went, sure. And that's what truth does, because we're training ourselves to get our lower brain out of the way. While we are fully conscious, very quickly, we're training, get that out of the way. Let me access my higher spirit with God. And truth is a direct communication. Have you ever done that, Brad?
Yes, I have.
So truth is a direct communication with the Creator. So when you get the belief, ask for the truth.
Okay, I love that. So we are at the end. So I first of all want to say thank you so much. It has been too long since we've spoken, number one. And number two,
we were already done.
No.
I just got started talking.
I know.
So ask for the truth. Let me finish this. Ask
Yes.
for the truth. Ask for the truth and write it down. And truth is always expansive. It is encouraging. It is empowering. The truth says you can do all things if you believe it. The truth has your good. It is for your good. And it will always be in support of the inspiration you receive, because inspiration is the divine communicating with you at the highest brain wavelength. That's what inspiration is. And that would not happen if it couldn't be made true. It would not happen. The only reason we fail in our inspiration is we have beliefs that are false. That's it. Or we haven't tweaked, or we give up a little too soon.
Yes.
So inspiration happens at the highest brain wavelength. So when you're writing your list, you say, this is my dream. If I could have it all my way, and then let your ego go to town and tell you why you can't do it. Those are the beliefs. And then I want you to look at them, and I want you to stare at those motherfuckers. Okay. And you look at them and you go, what is the truth? Is this really true? What is the truth about this? And contemplate on one at a time. I don't care if this takes you a month. If you're not doing anything anyway, why don't you just start to get rid of these beliefs so you can start doing something? And then you're asking for truth. And I guarantee you're going to be showering or sitting on the toilet. And when your brain is out of the way, it will rise in your heart. That's what will happen. So I'm sorry I interrupted your ending of this, because I was like, wait a minute.
We're just getting started.
I'm not done. I was just getting to the good shit. I wasn't done. So, but now you know what to do. So just when you say, I ask for the eternal truth to rise within my being, it is your birthright. Everybody has it. It didn't skip anybody. And the ego will say, well, this doesn't work on you. This isn't for you. I'm like, it works on everybody because it is the divine, but it is you overcoming your ego and the limitation. And that's why it's a little hard, because that little motherfucker, I mean, you've given all your power to your ego thinking it's you, and it's not. Okay. So you have to kind of battle that for a minute, and eventually it will become your servant and you can love it eventually. But for right now, it's a battle. Okay. Just be ready for it. Be ready for it.
Yeah.
And when you step into more truth, you can step into unconditional love. That is a different wavelength. But let's get true from all the bullshit first. Let's get our beliefs out of the way, and then we can shift in our vibration to unconditional love. So that's how we do it. Make that list, and then you're facing the opponent. The opponent will be written out on there, all the beliefs with it, and let the ego go to town. I call the ego Chi-Chi the Chihuahua. I love Chihuahuas, but not when they have rabies. So that's the ego. Okay. And you can create any little animal avatar you want for your ego, but visualize putting it out, because that tricks the mind to get out of the way for a moment. And then that's when you can begin to ask for truth. So make that list, face it, and just go, what's really true about that? Is that really true? And start paying attention to it, and take one of those beliefs at a time. Eventually you'll get them out of the way, right? And then you can start to move forward with your dream. And when you're moving forward with your dream, if you don't know what to do, say, show me the way, truth. Show me the way. Like, who cares? You don't know what to do. You will.
Yeah, 100%.
There you go. Okay, now I'm done.
All right. So now, thank you. I love everything that you shared, and I know that it's going to be a very, very powerful message for those who are ready for it. So before we go, please let us know how to get a hold of you, any special offers. I know you've got a special announcement, so I would love for you to share that with everyone.
I'm super excited. I have the truthmethod.app coming out. And this is just an app that helps lead you into your practice of truth, stepping into your higher infinite intelligence, stepping into the higher power that is your birthright. It's your true identity as one with truth, which is pure communication from God. So that is an app. And because it's shaky in the beginning, because we're battling our ego, we decided to do an app to have ongoing support, make it very affordable, and for everybody to just freaking get free and grow. And so truthmethod.app, and then look for a code, because Brad has a code. So I know where you came from, so I can thank Brad. I need to be able to thank him. So there's going to be a code for that. And if you decide to join us, that's great. We have some complimentary teachings that start to explain everything. And, I say, even if you just do the complimentary thing, if your life grows from there, I have done my work, right? So it's all about just igniting that spark of life within you and the truth. All right.
100%. Thank you so much, Claudette.
You're
I'm so
welcome.
grateful for you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And thank you for asking me to be on here. It's an honor.
Of course, of course. You're actually one of the first people I thought of. I thought of like several people. Who do I want to have part of this? And I just said, yep, Claudette for sure gets to be on this. So thank you.
Yay!
There. I have to get going, but it's been an honor to spend time with you. And if you need anything at all from me, please just let me know. And thank you once again.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank
All
you,
right.
everybody. Have a great week.
All right. Love you.
Love you too.